everybody, it's Trisha with Chocolate Musings, and I wanted to show you today how to paint berries, raspberries and blackberries. I have them in my bullet journal this month. The raspberries and the blackberries were so fun and they're so easy, so I wanted to show you a little bit on how to do that. Tell you what I've got for supplies. I have 2 things of water, and I have some watercolor paints. You can get a palette like this. This is, I think I got this at Hobby Lobby. And then this is a Winsor & Newton pocket pack. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but I can link it. And then this is a number 6 round brush. And I always use some paper towel. This is Canson watercolor paper. So first of all, I'm going to do some wet on wet techniques, and then also do some wet on dry techniques, which just means that the wet on wet means that you are adding wet paint to a wet surface, and the wet on dry means that you are adding wet paint to a dry surface. And right now I am painting some circles. Let's see if I can get the reflection of the light to catch it. I'm leaving the center of the circles empty. And I am just painting the general shape of a berry. And then after, what I'm going to do is drop the ink down so that it fills along the water lines. So see if I can. All right, I think I will do a raspberry. And I'm going to get quite a bit of wet paint. I want it to kind of almost be dripping because it is going to be very wet paint going onto it. And then I'm just going to touch down where there is some water already, and you can see it spreading out. And sometimes you can bring your brush along the lines and kind of push the paint. And I am getting water in between as well, so that I can get even more water on my paintbrush. Watching it flow around the circles that you've made, or whatever shape you've made, is so fun. All right, I made kind of a square berry, it looks like, and now I need to give it more of a berry point. That's the problem with putting down water. And I didn't put a pencil mark at all. I just kind of free-handed it. So if you need a light pencil mark, you can draw with a pencil and then pretty much erase all except for the faintest outline, because the pencil marks will show through. And then I'm going in and I'm just kind of filling in some of the open circles. I'm treating the open circles like a highlight on the individual berry. And so I'm kind of closing that off. Now I'm going to add a little bit of blue. Maybe mix it in, get some of this purple, just so that I have some variations in color and let it kind of run together with the paper that's wet and the ink that's already down, or the paint that's already down. Now, if you feel like the colors are too intense, this is just a paintbrush. I just dipped it in water and you can drop it down. It'll kind of push away some of the paint. I'm just using the very tip of my brush, guiding the water where I want it to go, and it will follow along with the water lines. All right, so there is one, and I will do some blackberries as well. Get my brush real wet, and again, draw some circles that are hollow. Most of them are half circles and kind of peeking out behind the circles in the front. I don't know if you can see that. So blackberries are really black, and my Winsor Newton doesn't have black, so I am going to use I think this is Master's Touch. And I will add some blue to give it just some blue highlights. I'm putting down the paint, and again, following along the lines. Following along the lines that I've already created, and sometimes filling in the circles a little bit more. And then push the paint a little bit with the very tip of your brush, just so that it follows the water even better. Fill some of these in. When this dries, you'll be able to see even more the blue color that I'm adding. Right now, it's kind of hard to see, and I'm getting a lot of paint on the brush so that it's very concentrated. And that's how you draw raspberries and blackberries. And as a bonus, I am going to do some blueberries and use a similar technique. Draw a bigger, rounder circle, or bigger circle, and then fill it in mostly, leaving some paper not filled in. Get your brush pretty saturated and pretty wet, and then drop it in. And then guide it around with your brush so that it fills it in. And I like it to pool kind of down at the bottom so that it makes a more intense color down at the bottom. I have a wet paintbrush but dry paper, and I am just going to give it a little crown on top. Not fill it in all the way. So there you go. There's some painting, some berries. And I hope this has helped you figure out how you need to paint, or that you can do it with just simple supplies and a little bit of water. Visit me on my blog. I will have all the links to the blog posts in the description below, as well as links to any of the products. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and leave a thumbs up on the video. That should do it for today. I wish you joy and creativity every day, and I hope you have a good one. Thanks.